Good afternoon. Today is the 6th day of November 2016, and in our continuing series interviews with Aurovillians, we are very, very happy to have Aurosylle with us.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
I'd like to know the derivation of your name. What's the etymology of it? Now, I believe it's spelled Aurosylle.
Correct.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Well, the story that I've been told is Shyama, my mother, was expecting a child in 1968, and she wrote to the mother, and she said, "I would like a name for my child." So mother wrote back and said, "Well, if it's a boy or a son, and if it's a girl or a Sylle."
Ah.
So she had given two names. And this was in 68. And I was born in 75.
So that was Aurosylle in those days.
Yeah.
Yes.
They call him the first Aurosylle. So he was born, and 18 months later he drowned.
Yes, I know the story because
Yeah.
my daughter
Shelley
was there. Shelley
yeah.
was there at that time.
Yeah.
Yes. And so then second Aurosylle was born when?
1970.
And you were born 75. 75.
So Shyama had thought this was my fifth child. I think that's plenty. But Frederick said, "Well, there's another name. I mean, I'm entitled to another child. There's an Aurosylle." So I often say I came because of my name. But so
you were born in Auroville
I was.
and lived your entire life pretty much in Auroville.
Exactly, yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about your work in Auroville and your life in Auroville?
Yeah.
I know people are very interested in these experiences from the younger generation of Auroville, because you've seen and experienced so much in your life already. It's amazing, isn't it?
I guess, but sometimes it feels also like a fish in water, maybe, like you don't really know all that you have because it's always been there and you've always had it. But
Well, tell us a little bit about your childhood before we begin into your work and life
Okay.
in Auroville.
so I was born in 1975 in what is called Aurosyle's home, which was a beautiful house. And
In Certitude?
in Certitude.
In Certitude, yes.
Yeah.
We've been there many times.
Yeah.
Yes.
My memories are just happy, lot of nature. When I think back of the things we did, we were always outdoors. We were very connected to the land, rode around on our horses. So if I compare it to the children today, I feel we were really lucky in terms of having what I thought was paradise. I mean, and even when I went out, what I missed a lot was that I used to say the neem trees and the red earth, and that was so much what sort of nourished me, I think, the outdoors and nature.
And at that time, of course, in the early 80s now, we're talking about when you were a young child, how far was the development of the green belt?
It was there. There was, of course, we spent a lot of time in Fertile with Johnny.
Okay.
I wasn't part of his school. I was a bit younger than that. I know there was a big gap for my older siblings, Renu and Taddy and Arissa. They didn't have school for many years. But we pretty much had center school. And then transition had started, and then we went on to law school. So those were the schools I attended. The Greenbelt, it was there. It was four-comers. We used to go walking. I had horses there, and
Patrick and Natalie had
Revelation. And there's Shakti also, which I sort of discovered later. That's also almost 20 acres, I think.
Yeah, these are huge places.
Yeah.
I think once Patrick told me he had 100 acres there
Really?
in Revelation.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So how was schooling? Must have been, I mean,
Yeah.
compared to the West or even India, I'm sure it was very different.
Yeah,
Maybe you
probably.
could
Huh?
tell us
I can't compare it with much, but yeah, I think there was no pressure. It was really
Ah,
it was really those lines of you find out for yourself what you want and why you want it. So I know now I'm a mother and I have a child, and we always talk about how we were totally unsupervised, which I think was a great thing. We were given so much freedom. But it's like that swing of the pendulum. Now we're very conservative parents. We want our kids at home and this and that. But there was none of that for us. We were totally free. I think it was a blessing.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about your mother and father?
Yeah.
Great.
Frederick. It's interesting. He just told me a story about how he said, well, my first calling was mother, and she put me in Aurosylle, and I know sometimes things don't feel so as they should be or whatever in Aurosylle, and he sometimes he struggles with that and all. But I was laughing. I was saying, you can't jump the boat now. You're the founding father here. You can't tell me that this was not your calling. And Aurosylle, I mean, he says. So we laugh about that. But he was always so involved in the administration, and I say politics. I don't think it's politics, but so I tend to not do any of that, any meetings or groups or. Just because there was so much of it when he was there. And Shyama was away for a lot of 10 years of my childhood living in America. So she came back when I was 16, which was nice. And hasn't been so maybe involved with the work and all, but I would say has always told us the most important thing is sort of a spiritual development, and that's what she's always tried to raise us with.
So, after your education, what work did you take up?
Lots of things. I think I tried everything from the kindergarten with children to dyeing natural colors with colors of nature. But then I found my sort of what I enjoyed most was working with plants and nature. So then I worked in I think first in Shakti with the herbarium. They've developed a whole herbarium. So I actually did a training here in Pondi in this French institute about how to preserve that. And then I worked in the botanical garden.
That must have been in its early days?
Yeah. In the seed bank, when they still had a big sort of...
Well, I'll be interviewing Paul and do the whole history of the botanic garden.
Yeah. Such a wonderful place.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's drawn many good people there.
He has, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then after that?
Then the Matrimandir nursery.
Mm-hmm.
And Matrimandir. Was kind of sad because I think from your great days it's slowly reduced and feels the energy was kind of diminishing, so it was hard after 2 years or 3 years there. And didn't really find a way to maybe revive it or bring back a lot of that past glory. I mean, the plumerias are there and
but I understand.
So and then my partner Sukrit, he had made
Sukrit of Michael and
Yeah.
Valerie Sukrit?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
We've been together since we're 15. So he made these electric vehicles, 50 of them. They're called the Humvee, and he had a whole production line. And then they had to stop because of battery issues and this and that. And then we decided to open a cycle shop because you can now get quite high-end cycles, and just seemed like a nice thing to do, a
Oh.
sports shop with cycles. And so the last 4 years have been working there and involved there. We also live in a big orchard, mango orchard, Rev.
Oh,
So I try
that one I don't know.
yeah.
Something new for me.
And there's like 50 mango trees and
Oh.
a lot of land, so yeah, just working there.
A lot of?
Land,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh,
Around.
where is it located?
It's right on the main road before Edenchavady, before the village. So we kind of took it on and fenced it and planted a lot and yeah, it's nice.
How do you see the progress of Aurosylle from a spiritual point of view? We're aware that the need for collective harmony is extremely important. But I'd like to have your views of... We don't do anything negative in these videos.
Yeah,
We only
yeah.
do positive things.
Yeah.
So if you can couch it in a positive light, that even though it could be critical
Yeah.
of something,
Yeah.
people are interested in how Aurosylle is evolving.
Yeah. Like you said, the spiritual aspect of it, I think, I don't know, yeah, hard to judge and don't want to judge, but it's not always apparent. I remember 10 years ago I was really burning with this thing. I used to almost go around and say, like, have you found your psychic being? Is it happening? And what's happening? And like, where is it? But of course, as you get older, you realize it's a much harder and much more slow process.
Very true.
And much of it you can't do, I guess.
So tell me about your child.
Ishana, she's now 9. She's a little bomb of energy. Runs around, and it's interesting raising a child in the age of the internet, though. It's quite challenging. I mean, she's on the computer a lot, and so I'm always trying to pull her back into the field and get on a horse and do the things I did. But no, she's happy. She's really happy.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
And Sukrit is working with you on the cycle?
Yeah, he works. He's a workaholic, so he's in his workshop today and Sunday and all the time. He recently was in America and he did a course on bicycle frame building. So he started making his own sort of custom frames, to order, which he really enjoys. So he has a nice little workshop, and yeah.
And what do you feel about solar or electric operated vehicles?
I think they're great. I've been riding one that he had made now for almost 5 years, and I love it, especially in Aurosylle. It's silent. It only goes at around 40, so you don't have this,
And it's a motorbike or a bicycle?
It's based on that TVS, but it's a little sturdier.
Okay.
So it's a kind of moped. And
did Sukrit build it? He built it?
Yeah.
I see.
It's really great. I think it's the way to go. I think there's things to be worked out with batteries and all that. And but I don't know enough.
Well, things are changing, aren't they? You're getting more and more energy from solar panels.
Yeah.
So what is Chandrash doing? Is he still with the solar?
Yeah, he's now not so much. No, he had taken up some, but those electric vehicles that he was doing.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. He's now very involved in setting up a whole fiber optic network in Aurosylle.
Yeah. Well, we'd really like to hear about some of your peers and friends and some stories that you can
Yeah.
share with us, because that's the life of Aurosylle, isn't it?
Yeah. So a very close friend, Orada, who I've grown up with all my life, is I'm really proud of her. She set up the ambulance in Aurosylle. She's been working for the last couple of years, and there's now a functioning ambulance service.
Is this the one that Alok
Drives, exactly.
drives? Okay.
Did you have him here interviewed?
Not
No?
yet,
Okay.
no, but we will.
Yeah,
And Srijita also, I want
Exactly.
to invite her as well.
yeah.
Amy has agreed this week, and
Okay.
Tensi, and we'll see how it goes.
Nice. Oh.
So anyway, yes, please tell us more about your friends.
So yeah, so she's doing that, and I think like I don't know what it is, but Aurosylle also came into this maybe 10 years ago. I would say it maybe like a bit of an attraction or fascination with money. So our whole generation kept playing around with the idea of money, and you have to make money, and how do you? I think we're now bored with it and realize that's not going to take you far, really. So that's good. I don't know what, I mean, there's always the underlying, we all understand, I think, why we're there and what we should be working for. But sometimes it's not obvious what you should be doing, because your normal motivations or your normal pressures are not there. So what should you be doing with your, if you don't have a passion and a real drive. I know my brother or his son struggles with that a lot. He what is that line in the, not this, but then what, if you.
And my dear friend Kelly often hosts him.
Yeah, in New York.
In New York, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
But
his
it is a
escape is
struggle.
traveling. You just keep. And I asked him once, and he says, well, for me, it's that search. You don't stop searching, which also brings about a restlessness, maybe, because you're not at peace, but somehow he doesn't want to find peace. He just wants to keep, moving and looking until you find that.
What do you feel about the education today in Aurosylle? I'm personally involved because of Shelley and
Yeah.
Future School.
Yeah.
But is it
I think it's great.
progressing?
I mean,
Yeah.
It's again like now taking the higher education is taking a very formal, very academic approach. I mean, also Shali has stepped out, of Future School, and there's
Yes.
a new team.
Yeah.
So
It's a new team, yes.
some children have been asked, I don't think you're academic enough, so don't bother coming. So that was a bit of a shock. It was created to include all children, no?
Yes, absolutely.
But on the other hand, this class just, got, I think, the highest marks in the country in India. So
Ooh.
they've been, so the level is very high if you're into studies and all. But if you're not, then you have to find something else.
But I imagine there's so much work available.
Exactly, apprenticeships. No, that's what
Yes,
they've started
exactly.
now.
They have?
Yeah,
Oh,
Jesse has launched this whole apprenticeship program, and
for what?
he calls it pro skill. So anybody with a skill who's willing to take on an apprentice and train them and teach them. And so my younger brother Amrit, he's a chef, so he's teaching I think 5 or 6, teenagers cooking and this and that.
Where does he work?
He works in Newport News. They have a
Ah,
kind of kitchen there, and they cook.
I see.
Yeah,
well, you know that Aaron is in France now.
I know.
And very, very happy
Yeah?
in chef school. Yes. It's an amazing thing.
I know Anne didn't approve. Anne and Robert. She kept calling
Oh,
Diana.
I know. Oh, I know.
Did she call you?
I got a long letter from her,
Okay.
yes.
This is not.
Asking me to intercede.
Yeah.
But the boy had a very clear idea as what he wanted to do. And already when we would go to dinner there, he would make very special dishes.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
even before,
Okay.
but he was also working with a fellow at the town hall.
Okay. Jean-Marc or something.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah.
And he was teaching him some things too.
Nice.
Tell me a bit about your experience with the arts and music in Aurosylle. Plays, acting.
Okay. We've done sort of, again, Johnny plays. Lots of fun. Kind of maybe, making fun of some of the sillier things in Aurosylle,
Mm-hmm.
which is always healthy, I think, to laugh at one's own shortcomings. But I'm not so involved. I know Reino is. She's on the art service and writes for this magazine, Magzav. And yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any musical or artistic capacities.
But I'd like to go into a little more depth in your work
Yeah.
about your work with plants, and
Yeah,
that's, as you know, very important to me.
yeah.
Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. Well, in the nursery, I was asked, to look after the hibiscus. So it was trying to find that collection of all the ones Mother had named, and ones we would need for the gardens. Yeah, I've always been so, I don't know what the word is, but flowers and Mother's significance to them and all, that's always meant a lot to me. And it's kind of like a secret language you keep playing with, and discovering. And recently I read a passage where she talks about enthusiasm. So I went out and I got all these petunias, and now my garden's full of petunias. So it's kind of like that. I do it very much just by feeling, and they always talk to me somehow, flowers, and I'm always opening the book and reading. And
I'm working right now on a very comprehensive list of the significances, and second column is the botanical name, and third column is the common name.
yeah,
And eventually there'll be a fourth column with the type of plant.
perfect.
And then finally we'll add to that. I'd like to invite you also to work on our new book, which is a field guide to flowers.
Exactly. Yeah.
And have you heard about it?
No, but it's
Well, if you imagine a book
yeah,
and you have the back spine,
yeah,
well, the front spine would be in the color of the rainbow.
yeah,
So if you had a blue flower, you would open to the blue section, and it would be from small to large,
Yeah.
only what Mother has named.
yeah.
And then there's another team I'm working with, and they have an app now that is, it's called Flower Song.
Okay.
And if you like, I'll send that to
Please
you.
do,
that
yeah.
app. And the idea ultimately is that you hold your camera up to a flower, and it gives you all the information that you want.
Are we bypassing something here?
Well,
No.
it's all Mothers.
Yeah,
It's
I know,
all-
but there's one. Sometimes I wonder if one loses some of the. I mean, you'll get the name, no? That's and then you can work.
You'll
with
get
that.
the significance.
The significance.
The significance is always first.
Yeah, yeah,
And then, of course, we've had 2 different books
yeah,
to date.
yeah.
The first book I did
Yeah.
with Richard, that was in '72.
Okay.
And then many years later, Lilo and Bob
Yeah.
worked on the spiritual significance of flowers.
Mm.
But we've never had color. And color is what people need
Yeah.
to understand not only the meaning, but the vibration of the flower. And Mother has given us that whole range of colors,
Yeah.
and she's explained where they are. I
Yeah.
mean, matter is dark red, and physical is a brighter red, and then you have the vital in its purples, and the psychic in pink, and it's beautiful, if we can do that.
Play it almost, no?
Almost, yes, yes. So you worked in the nursery on the hibiscus,
Yeah.
and what else?
Uh,
How did,
then
how
I
did it
worked-
go?
Not so well.
knew many were lost.
Almost all. When I go, I went a month ago. There's nothing left in that hibiscus field.
Oh,
But they did. What happened is the Amrita explained me that a kind of virus they had brought in. I think hibiscuses from Kerala, and with them came a soil virus. I forget the name now.
oh my gosh.
So that destroyed most of the mother plants that we were, using to make cuttings and this and that. And Margarita did try with all kinds of EM, and she kept thinking, "Now I've got it, now I've got it," and they looked better for 6 months, but then come summer, they would struggle, and then we'd lose again one or two, and it just sort of went downhill. And then he said, "Don't shift any of them to Matrimandir, to the gardens there." But of course, as the gardens were being developed and they needed the plants and all, we took them there, and there was a big problem there.
Oh, with the Bliss Garden?
Yeah.
Ananda,
But
physical
it's somehow come through, I think, no? Have you seen it? No?
I haven't seen it recently, no.
Okay. It looks quite beautiful.
Is it completed, Garden of Bliss?
Almost. They've made some bowls with like fountains.
Mm-hmm.
So not all of those are completed, but the plants are all there. And they're bringing in more and more trees, which I think is nice.
Oh,
in the design.
I do too. Yes.
And recently, I don't know if you know Chandra. She's the brother of...
Chandra.
Yeah, she has a...
Sadalu's sister.
Exactly.
She is an expert in
On
water
water
lilies. Yes.
So she's been sharing those with me.
Oh, she has.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Because she told me that she had many new varieties
Yeah,
from the U.S. and other places.
So I think right now she has 14 of them, and her dream is to have them, of course, in the Garden of Wealth.
Absolutely.
So I said, "Come on, let's start designing ponds and."
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so that's exciting.
So you have some of the
I have
plants
6
there?
of them now, and they're so beautiful. They're all what do you call hybrids.
Yeah, hybrids. Yeah, sure.
So the Colorado and the Nymphaeatina, and she's got it all.
See, I've not even seen these yet.
I know that.
I knew the fellow who built the biggest place in Florida,
You did.
Percy.
I think I've seen him on the internet.
Yeah, old.
With
now
a
he's passed
collection,
away.
no?
Yeah, his
Yeah.
collection, yes.
Yeah.
And she might have gotten some from him.
Probably.
And there are so many new lotuses now.
Yeah. Lotuses, huh?
Lotuses that can grow
Have
in
you
a
seen
small
them?
container like
Yeah.
yes, I have.
And
I
I've
went to
seen-
his place actually. He started a new place in North Carolina, built a kind of castle with all water gardens.
Yeah.
It was
That's
quite
so-
an
it
experience.
is,
So we have to you have to guard them carefully, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she says she's had this collection for almost 14 years, and she's kind of has a system now that really works. You fertilize them with neem cake every month, and she grows them in small containers. So most of these are smaller varieties.
But they'll grow larger if they're in a larger container, right?
Yeah.
So you have 6. Will you get all 14?
I hope so.
eventually?
I have to make more ponds and more.
Ah,
Yeah,
wonderful.
but it's beautiful.
Wonderful. So you did hibiscus. Did you work on anything else? You
No.
remember the prayer I brought? 86
Yeah,
varieties?
they're all there.
Are they still there?
86, I haven't counted them,
No,
but there's a
probably
lot.
not
huh?
anymore. But
Yeah. What do you think the future of the nursery? I think I've asked you this before, but
the Matrimandia Nursery?
Yeah.
Oh no, they told me that it's not in the right area.
oh,
And that's an industrial area or something like that. And it'll go down.
so what about your collection of plumerias and everything?
Well,
Don't you think it should
I
be
hear
a
from
park or
Paul that
something?
he's got everyone now
Yeah,
at
that's
the
true.
Botanic Garden. So they're not lost at all. And of course, Michael, we had that field for a while
Yeah,
where we had some great new varieties.
yeah.
So, no, it won't be lost. And we do have the Garden of Perfection, the last garden.
Yeah.
So, you're going to tell me more about some of your friends and some of the
Okay.
Aurovillians that you know, and
Yeah.
that's always wonderful to hear.
Okay. What else? You're giving the classes again, huh? In Savitri Bhavan? Have you started that? They always use your name, I think. Narad will be with us.
That was the Om Choir.
Yeah. Is
Every
that so?
Tuesday.
Okay.
Every
so you come
Tuesday.
out every Tuesday?
I come out every Tuesday, right?
Nice.
Every Monday and Thursday here,
Okay.
I do explorations in Savitri with Alak Pandey.
Okay. Okay.
And that's much appreciated because the knowledge pours through him, and he makes it so accessible to everyone.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have to attend one of them.
Yeah. Come to Om Choir once in a
Yeah.
while too.
I did come. It was,
You did?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But not with you, but I'll come again for sure.
Good.
That's
Tell me about the different people that you know.
Okay. So, let's see. What are other people doing? A very close friend, Mukta. I don't know if you know. She's the daughter of Yap and Lisbeth.
Ah,
Yeah. I'm close to her. She now lives in Aurosyle's home with her daughters that are just about to go to college, I guess. And
oh my goodness.
yeah, everybody's growing up. And I was recently talking to Shali. I said, it feels like all the kids have gone. What are we going to do? This is... But I guess that's the way it goes. You know, I cycle every Tuesday with Shali.
You do?
Yeah.
I know she was alone one for many years
yeah.
with just the 6 guys
I know,
or 5 guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now you cycle with her.
I cycle with her. It's
That's great.
Yeah. We did a ride through Kaliveli the last week.
Oh.
Yeah. They're putting in a big metal road there, which doesn't seem to make any sense because it's not really going anywhere. But at least it makes it, easier to cycle. Yeah.
Yeah. How far is it from Aurosylle?
About to that, we do like a 50-kilometer loop, so we go out and yeah.
Huh.
I really enjoy them because you see a lot of just Tamil Nadu, just the fields and the palmyras and.
Yeah, and you meet the people.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
She's
Simple,
told me a
no?
lot about that.
Yeah.
How simple, yes, and
Yeah.
down to earth people.
Yeah, and now all the columns are full and it's really beautiful.
And what does Sukrit do when he's not in the
He cycles
in the
as
shop?
well.
Does he?
Yeah, and he's now on land board. He feels very strongly about that Aurosylle should get the remaining pieces of land, whatever comes up for sale. And
Well, you have seen I work very closely with Mandakini,
yeah,
and
so there's a
she's
push
done
for
a
that.
wonderful
She has,
job in raising funds.
Yeah, that's so important.
Yes. So it's good to hear that he's on the land board.
And he's a good negotiator, so that's nice. Because I think it's essential that we keep harmonious, contacts with the village. I'm worried that Aurosylle doesn't squeeze them and doesn't allow them to enough room to expand and develop. And they're also growing very fast. And
Yes.
so I think that's important that they come up with some kind of development plan as well.
And Sukrit speaks Tamil
He
fluently?
does, yeah.
Oh,
And he's always very friendly, so that they like that. And they know him since he was a kid,
Yeah,
most of
sure.
them. So it works, I think.
and what about Yap and Elizabeth?
Yeah, they're good. Yap is, he's Dutch. I recently walked
Yeah.
all through his canyon lands, and it's amazing what he's done with bunds and dikes and this. And I think it must be his Dutch damming genes, I was joking.
Oh, really?
He catches all the water and he's planted and he's just landscaped it so beautifully. It was wonderful to see.
What is this place called?
Ravina.
Ravina.
Yeah.
How about that?
And he's one of those silent achievers. Mukta is the same, they're just steadily working away. Nobody knows about it, but they do an amazing job. So I really appreciate all the people that have, taken up land around the Greenbelt. And Joss also is somebody I have a lot of, what he's done. And I once asked him, how do you do these magical? He says, well, I'll tell you a secret. I work with the devas. I can't do it without them. I call them and they come. And Yeah, and
I
it's
had not
true.
heard that. That's very interesting.
And you go there, and it's you feel a presence, and it's quite magical. So that's his secret.
Wonderful.
And yeah, I often walk in Pichandikulam, and now we're taking the smaller kids. Hopefully, they also have a connection then to the land and to the trees and. Mm,
So there's also Kirit
yeah,
and Gaia's Garden.
yeah,
He did a lot of
it did. No?
land reclamation.
Yeah, and these bundings and all that. No?
Yeah. Anybody else involved in the land?
I was recently working with Krishna in Solitude. He's trying to. Maybe you don't know him. He was in Annapurna. You must know Thomas, and
Oh,
more
yeah.
of a farmer.
Mhm.
But he's trying to do a whole movement of kind of urban farming. They've put something in the town hall now. Sort of pumpkins growing, on the fences, and a bit of tapioca and this, and it's interesting. He really believes strongly that we have to eat local foods and take sustainability into our own hands. And it's interesting.
Which leads us to agriculture and farms.
Yeah.
What's happening?
A lot of the Oro Orchard. I mean, I love talking to Gerard.
Yes.
Every conversation he brings up a story with the mother, and it's so alive. But he's had to pass it on to a new family, so they're doing it in a different style, and let's see. And I also, you must know Deepika and Bernard. They do a lot of seed saving. Have you heard of them? Pebble Garden.
Yes, I've heard of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know them well.
Yeah. Some of these people feel a bit threatened because Aurosylle feels, we should exchange the outlying land, and so that's made kind of a rift in the community.
Oh.
And
But it was for exchange of the
for land around
the Aurosylle land.
Yeah.
Of what is needed for the Aurosylle land.
But what happens if you've put 20 years of work into the land, and then,
so they worked outside of the circle.
Yeah.
I see.
So let's see how that
Mm-hmm.
resolves itself. I don't know.
But the land is being purchased now?
Yeah.
I mean...
Mm-hmm. I mean, what I was explained is that the remaining pieces, they're remaining because it's either people who feel sort of hostile towards Aurosylle or have had, a bad, just don't want to sell it to Aurosylle for various reasons. Or it's kind of real estate agents who have bought it and are just using it as an investment.
Yeah.
So the remaining pieces are difficult, and there's a lot of negotiation and all. But things are moving. I think they bought over 60 acres this last year. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it's all more. Yeah, something like that.
And
58.
agriculturally, organic, can we talk a little bit about organic farming?
Yeah.
Good.
So there was this seed bank that I was part of, which was great because you could get your seeds and this and that. But now Botanical Garden is just sort of seedlings. So I know that a lot of people, of course, do their own gardens, and that's nice. There's also a group of, do you know Martin? Maybe not. Young Martin. Not.
I know old Martin.
Okay.
It's Minden.
Yeah. He wants to now within the city have all kinds of fruit trees, but he wants them from all over the world. So he keeps sending me lists of, exotic tamarinds and black mangoes and something from Madagascar and all.
Is he getting anything?
Yeah, he's getting them, and he's raising a nursery, and let's see. So
Very interesting.
yeah, it could
Very
be
interesting.
fun.
And there are some major farms, I understand. Sadhana Forest,
Yeah,
you know about that?
I've been there. Yeah,
Oh.
Is it a farm as well? I know they do
No,
a lot
I
of
don't think it's a farm.
forest, no,
But there is another farm just outside the
yeah. Annapurna,
Tindivanam
no?
Road.
Yeah.
Annapurna.
Yeah.
Yes.
He does amazing
Really?
work with rice, a lot of rice. I think he has 20 varieties of local rice and yeah. He's
So keeping it clean, not contaminated with the new hybrids and
No,
genetic
exactly.
modifications.
Yeah, none of that.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Mm.
And let's see. One more thing I wanted to ask, and
Yeah.
that is about the children of Oroville and what you see in the future.
Yeah,
I think it's very important, isn't it?
it is. I'm part of a group called Youth Activities, and we've made a website with all the activities for children. And there's, I think, over 40 of them. So that's just with sports and arts, and it was really nice because I was showing it to my daughter, and it kind of felt like this big platform or umbrella that no matter which school, because there's so many schools in Oroville and so many, but despite wherever you are, you still kind of, my intention was, of course, to put the kids in the center of Oroville and for them to, and that's kind of trying to make that happen with this website, and just so that everybody can work together, and coaches and teachers and schools, and so I think that's a really nice movement. Of course, there's so many more kids now. There's, I think, in that age group, there's 500 maybe, so they're really lucky.
What age group?
Sort of, what do they come? They come to 8 to 18 or something, or 7 to 18.
500.
I think so.
Oh.
So,
What is the population of Oroville now, approximately?
for me, it's always 2,000.
Always
but
2,000. That's what we always hear. Yes.
No, I think it's coming close to 3,000.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot, there's a new entry group, and there's a lot of people now joining, and they've tried to make it much easier. And
So I've heard from
Yeah.
Shally, yes, which is a good thing.
It is,
It's a
no?
very good thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Huh. Well, it's been wonderful to have you.
yeah,
Thank
nice
you
to be
so
with you.
much.
Thank you.
Look at the camera. Yeah.